What does it mean to be the oldest Piru set on the east side of Compton, California? The Lueders Park Piru, originally known as the East Lueders Park Hustlers, has been a significant presence in gang culture since the early 1970s. They have undergone several name changes, from the Stockton Street Mob to the Bartender Piru to the Lueders Mob, culminating in the Lueders Park Piru we know today. Their influence extends beyond Compton, reaching across the United States. This documentary will explore their rich history, including their connections with Death Row Records and ongoing community service initiatives. As the Lueders Park Piru adapts to changes in the gang landscape, they continue to engage with their community while facing various challenges. How have these transformations shaped their identity and allowed them to maintain a prominent role locally and nationally? Join us as we uncover the compelling story of the Lueders Park Piru, where past and present intersect to create a lasting legacy. The Lueders Park Piru, established in 1970 or 1971, is recognized as one of the oldest Piru sets in Compton, California. Initially known as the East Lueders Park Hustlers, this gang played a significant role in shaping the dynamics of gang culture in the area, particularly during the 1990s, when they were allegedly involved in enforcement, production, and street team activities for Death Row Records. Their territory spans from Rosecrans Avenue to Compton Boulevard, and from Bullis Avenue to East Atlantic Drive. The Lueders Park area became a focal point for gang activity, especially after a pivotal incident in February 1973, when Clifford Ray, a member of Lueders Park, was fatally stabbed at a house party during a large brawl. This event marked him as the first Piru member killed by a Crip, and is often cited in street folklore as a crucial moment in the formation of the blood identity. By the late 1970s, Lueders Park Piru had established deep ties to the broader East Side Bompton Piru movement. They transitioned from the Stockton Street Mob to the Lueders Park Piru identity, influenced by various events, including a physical altercation involving local females at the park, which ultimately led to the creation of the Mob Pirus in 1974. Despite experiencing internal conflicts with Mob Piru in 1979, both groups continued to collaborate with other East Side Pies, such as the Elm Streets, Lime Hoods, and Cross Atlantics, operating under a unified East Side Piru banner. Key figures within Lueders Park Piru included prominent members such as Bartender, Big Herman, Time Bomb, and Ick-The-Tick Dawson. Women affiliated with the gang like Big Ann and Renee also held notable reputations within the community. Cynthia Nun is a prominent figure from Compton, California, specifically known for her past affiliation with the Lueders Park Piru. She grew up in the heart of Compton and was heavily involved in gang life during the peak of gang violence in the area. The Lueders Park Piru is one of the well-known blood sets in Compton, and Nun's early life was deeply influenced by the realities of street life. However, Cynthia Nun's story is one of transformation. After losing multiple family members, including her brothers, to gang violence, she chose to leave that life behind and focus on creating positive change in her community. She became an advocate for peace and a community leader, dedicating her life to reducing gang violence and helping at-risk youth. Nun established her own nonprofit organization, Cynthia Nun Saving Our Youth Foundation, which provides resources, mentorship, and support to young people in Compton and surrounding areas. Her work involves outreach to families affected by violence, intervention programs for youth, and creating educational and employment opportunities to help guide them away from gang involvement. Cynthia Nun's efforts have earned her respect within both the community and law enforcement, as she works to bridge gaps and bring lasting change to Compton. CJ from Lueders Park, recognized for helping transition the Stockton Street Mob into the East Side Lueders Park Piru. Throughout its history, Lueders Park Piru has lost many members to violence. Notable fallen soldiers include Bandit, Bartender, and Monster Man, who was shot by a member of the Santana Block Crips. The tragic stories of these individuals highlight the gang's violent past and the ongoing conflict with rival gangs. One particularly infamous legend is Wardell Pucci, who was allegedly implicated in the murder of the notorious B.I.G. Although the details remain unverified, this story continues to circulate in gang lore. Another significant event involved Big Jake, a close associate of Suge Knight from Mob Piru. Lueders Park Piru, affiliated with Death Row Records, saw violence spill into the music world, notably when Big Jake was shot by Bad Boy Records affiliates in Atlanta on September 23, 1995, exacerbating tensions between Death Row and Bad Boy. This conflict intensified following the infamous altercation involving Tupac Shakur and Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand shortly before Tupac's death on September 7, 1996. Lueders Park Piru is also noteworthy for its small contingent of Samoan members who opted not to join the Sons of Samoa, Crips. This decision was rooted in their commitment to the Lueders Park community during a time when there was a significant influx of Samoans into the east side of Compton. This unique aspect of their membership highlights the gang's diverse cultural background and its connection to the local community. Throughout the years, the Lueders Park Piru has maintained its influence within the broader Piru and Blood gang culture, engaging in community service and peace-building initiatives aimed at reducing violence in Compton. These efforts reflect a growing trend among gang members to participate in positive community involvement while navigating the challenges of gang life. Despite their smaller numbers compared to other sets, Lueders Park Piru has garnered respect for its discipline and commitment to family values. Lueders Park Piru, originally based in Compton, California, has influence beyond the state. Documented activity suggests that Piru sets, including Lueders Park, have expanded to other regions across the U.S. For example, Piru factions under the larger Blood Alliance are present in cities like Baltimore, Maryland, New Jersey, parts of New York, Little Rock, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, and Houston, Texas, where various blood sets operate. Additionally, Lueders Park Piru groups can be found in states like New York, as some may have aligned with the United Blood Nation on the East Coast, which is much different from the UBN within the California county jails and penitentiary system. The Lueders Park Piru were influential in keeping the family aspect of Bloods on the West Coast connected to the East Coast during the revamping of the East Coast UBN and the current New York BBA, Bloody Brim Army, which should not be confused with the UBN's 9 Tray Gangster Bloods, also known as Billy Badass Bloods, started by a relative of the Athens Park Bloods and Miller Gangster Bloods, also known as Athens Miller's Gangsters when mentioned together. APB, AMG, Jungle Stone, Black Pea Stones, and Lueders Park all contributed to the blood transfusion movement to restore the West Coast knowledge to East Coast sets, like the Touch Money Millers and Black Gorilla Stones, whose lineage comes from the West. However, due to OG Mac's misrepresentation in New York, important family history was lost in translation to the East. Though specific documentation about Lueders Park Piru in each location can be sparse, it's clear that Piru gangs are not confined to California and have established a presence in multiple cities across the country as part of the broader Blood Network. Lueders Park has had an influence in music since the early 90s and late 2000s. The Lueders Park Piru are mentioned in the song Piru Love, 1993, by the Bloods and Crips in the line, "Don't get caught in the jungles or a park called Lueders." This marked their early presence in popular music culture, which continues to find success with contemporary artists. Artists like TriG from Lueders Park Piru have been working endlessly to give back to the community while promoting his music. TriG can be seen alongside the famous Cynthia Nun as she showcases the mutual dedication to honoring lost members of the Compton community and speaks about the nonprofit work she's been doing since leaving the street life. Between 2017 and 2024, TriG has successfully released 7 independent mixtapes, gaining notable attention and shedding even more light on the talent emerging from the Lueders neighborhood. His consistent output not only reflects his passion for music, but also highlights the rich potential of artists from this area of Compton. Rapper Make a Mill Honcho from Brazil Street Records exemplifies this ongoing musical legacy. Honcho has collaborated with prominent figures such as Bad Seed, aka Mr. Put It On Peas, and Big Face 100, the game's brother from Cedar Block Piru. One of his most notable collaborations is the Round Table Remix, a project that brought together 6 different artists from both Crip and Blood sets. This featured the likes of Munchie B from Inglewood Family Bloods, CEH Polk from Hoover, Beezy Santana from Santana Block Crip, and D-Boy 223 from West Side Bompton Piru, the son of Cobra, from the legendary Samoan Piru group Booyah Tribe. This collaboration highlights the bridging of various gang-affiliated artists, creating a sense of unity through music. Honcho's recent release from prison prior to his Roundtable and Roundtable remix comeback shows his resilience and ongoing contribution to Lueders Park's music scene. Additionally, a new generation of artists from Lueders Park Piru has emerged. New faces in the Lueders Park music lineage: Eck-The-Tick, who transitioned from a feared Compton hustler to a professional artist. His talents have led him to collaborate with other blood artists such as Avenue Champ, YNW Melly, and B Nice from Miami, Florida. Eck-The-Tick even signed to Jay Green's independent label, 510 Music Group. Emerging artists like YG Puda, FTM Newski, and FTM Tez are also generating attention, bringing Lueders Park music to a level not seen since the early days of Make a Mill Honcho. This ongoing music tradition continues to solidify Lueders Park's cultural impact within and beyond Compton. For more detailed insights, you can refer to the sources used to compile this overview. United Gangs, Lueders Park Piru, /unitedgangs.com/Lueders Park-Piru, Wikipedia, wikipedia.org/wiki/Lueders Park Piru. Cliffworld TV's video, Meet Compton's Oldest Piru Set, Lueders Park Piru, available on YouTube here, youtube.be/pp018 Who are the Lueders Park Piru Bloods? The story of Compton's most notorious blood set, MOB versus Lueders. Available on YouTube here in Q, as to do RJ6JQ2 June. This combination of historical significance, cultural adaptation, and community engagement has ensured that Lueders Park Piru remains a formidable presence, not just in Compton, but also across various regions of the United States, as they continue to evolve within the complex landscape of gang culture.